Welcome to the second ever episode of Out of My Head, the blog where I talk to myself. If you're questioning that, you should probably keep watching to see what I mean. But today I have a couple of bits I'd like to do. I have about 3 news stories. The news that I'm going to do is going to range in varying degree. On the one side, I realize that there's all the real stuff, all the important stuff, all the world stuff. It's over here that most people don't care about. Then on the other side, I know that's all fandom and nerdy and geeky and games and movies, LARPing. So, I'm probably bring you more of this, less this. First news story. The lost blacksmithing technology might hold the key for future batteries. Vandium is thought to be the key ingredient to what made Damascus steel the legend it is today. Typically added to steel used to make bridges and the rebar inside of reinforced concrete. This hardy and stable mineral has the ability to make batteries that could last, potentially, for the next multiple decades, with little or no loss of power. That's huge!
What if you could fly to 1,000 different worlds?
That's like, oh my god, I have a battery that my father bought. I inherited this battery. It runs my farm. I mean, that's the sort of stuff they're talking about. Right now, all of its main applications is in major production, large vats of the stuff. But the way they talk, this thing could run, if you had a vat, a big enough one, you could potentially run a small factory off of it. Second news story. There's good news for everyone who uses Wi-Fi. Senators Mark Rubio and Cory Booker are working on a new bill which will force the FCC to do something for us consumers.
I can't give you these facts.
They're working on a 3-part plan, the end result of which we'll be able to use the 5 gigahertz bandwidth on the spectrum for Wi-Fi. And it's not just going to be Wi-Fi, they're talking it's supposed to be some super Wi-Fi. So whatever that means, that sounds interesting. It's supposed to help out with all the smart cars that have. If you have Pandora in your car, if you have MapQuest, if you have any kind of like satellite radio, anything like that. If you have a computer screen, if you have the backup camera in your car, you have a computer in it, which means Wi-Fi is going to get really good for you. We're going to start seeing. We potentially might start seeing an app store for vehicles, where you suddenly download the app for Netflix for your car.
Man, I'm pretty.
The whole TV screen in the back could potentially become something that you find in a Honda Civic. It's going to be especially good considering 2 years ago, they had auctioned off a bunch of the white, what they called white sections of the TV broadcasting spectrum. They auctioned it off for like $25 billion. But the government, with its money, paid broadcasters because they were losing access to those. I am the very model of a modern Major General. Paid off national debt. And I think they used $5 billion for current running unemployment agency and plans. So that's extraordinary. Last news story. My third news story is about a documentary called The Great Kingdom. And what it is the origin story of the men who made Dungeons and Dragons, Gary Gygax, and I forget who the other guy is. For some reason, it's not in my notes. But yeah, Gary Gygax and his buddy. And it's about the men who made it during the origin story and how obviously they made it, but what was going on with them. At least some trailer made me believe. That's extraordinary. I know there's a book out called The Dyson Men, but if you go and get that, which is really the history of gaming. And then of course this is an entire documentary dedicated to the origin really of gaming and TSR. That's huge. We should know where we come from. We should know what they had to do to get the product that we love out there. It's amazing.
I am Dungeon Master, your guide.
Okay. If you look over here, this thing here that's been playing is probably a tidbit of the trailer. Next up, Dominion, what I think about it. But first, here's our sponsor.
Discover a world beyond your wildest dreams. Discover Atari. Pioneers in coin video games like Centipede, Tempest, and Asteroids that challenge you, excite you, test you like never before. Discover the Atari that opened your eyes to the world's most popular home video games like Space Invaders, Missile Command, and Warlords. Discover the Atari that brought you a home computer truly designed for the home. Sophisticated for advanced needs, yet simple enough for your child to use. Compose music, play advanced games, manage your finances, all at the touch of a button. Discover Atari. And discover how far you can go.
Television show review. Set 25 years after the angels decide to descend from heaven to destroy mankind, humanity has been reduced to nothing more but scattered city-states trying to compete with one another. The show takes place inside the walls of Vega, what was once Las Vegas, after humanity defeated the 8-ball hordes led by Gabriel at Hoover Dam. The show pairs an incredible amount of ancient civilizational themes with post-apocalyptic style that's very close to almost a Fallout kind of, as if Fallout was a genre for post-apocalyptics. This genre fusion works incredibly well, giving the viewer an entirely new flavor to consume while watching the show. It's amazing. It's very good! It's really good. It's one of the most original show premises that I've seen in a while like it. Not only does it have heavy Roman themes, and just the way the society's set up. And that's where, of course, you get the ancient civilization from that, along with, we see delegates from a different city-state that fly in, and they're, everyone's covered, they're very chic, like, they belong to a chic. They talk about how you never see their children at all whatsoever. Well, what it is, really, and what it's going to be, and it's going to be amazing. It's a very controllable way to do political storylines, political struggle, drama, which is great. It's good. It's nice to see something original. It's nice to see SyFy trying so hard again. I remember loving and watching SyFy Channel when it was still SCIFI, because it meant science fiction. And then they changed it. Why? Why would you do this? And then it went. There's still a lot of stuff on there I don't really agree with, like the ghost mining, and TAPS, Ghost Hunter International, all that shit. But it's nice to see them trying to do. I watched Helix. That was an amazing story. And now I'm watching Helix, which was on fall 2013. And now I'm seeing all these other things for, like, germ warfare horror films, like The Strain. Or, God, what's that other one Guillermo del Toro just did? I think it's Guillermo del Toro. I don't remember. But I'm seeing all this stuff out here. Helix is coming back. That's going to be a good time. I'm excited for it. My girlfriend's excited for it. Yeah, it's going to be great. With Dominion being the way it is, and especially on the night and what it's paired with, you're only correct in assuming SyFy is going to have at least a little bit of online support. So what they did was they went in and they made a guidebook before episode 1 aired. I'm sure you were able to get chapter 1. After episode 1 came out, they probably gave you chapter 2. There's a bunch of stuff about Gabriel and the 8 balls. Like they have sharpened teeth. They call them 8 balls because of their mostly black pupil. They have veins. What they don't tell you, what they don't really explain, is the fact that these things have a sentience. They're not just animalistic. They're supposed to be the dog spirits, the dogs of war. The dogs of war, which apparently inhabit the bodies of men because they don't have physical bodies of themselves. They're not really just animalistic, though. They don't, I mean, they're at least as sentient as human beings. If human beings stop caring about everything that they normally have to, and they just indulge themselves in whatever fancy and pleasure they decided, supposedly.
They're here already! You're next!
So that's it. That's today's show. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that I left you with something. I hope that you learned something, at least a little bit. Like I said, this is only my second ever episode. Bear with me. I'm sure as time progresses, I will smooth things out, work on things. But I appreciate you tuning in and watching, and I hope you come back.